5:30. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I love that you guys are all on. What I asked before, if you guys want to do some reminders, because you know we all have so many friends that love to come on this every single Thursday. Today's been a little off, so let's remind people that we're here and remind them that they want to come because they want to bring up their energy and feel all that goodness that this team and community has to offer. And our presenters, they are just ready to bring it. Their stories are incredible. So go ahead and give some last minute reminders to everyone. That'd be fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and get started though. So I do ask a couple things. We have a couple new guests on the line. I want to welcome you guys. If you're a guest, can you guys shout out your name and where you're calling from? You're muted. We did mute you out. So go ahead and unmute and shout out your name. Sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Amber. I am currently living in Salem, Oregon, but I am from San Jose.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to have you, Amber.
My family's talking in the background. I'm sorry.
That happens. That's a good thing. Excellent. No, there's a couple others. If you guys want to shout out, I'm asking for anyone that's never been on our call before to go ahead and shout out your name, where you're calling in from. If you have been on our call before, feel free to use the chat and state where you're calling in from. We always love to hear where people are because we do have people come from all over the world. So it's really fun to watch that come in. Well, hello, Rose. I finally get to see you. Rose and I have been talking every day for a couple of weeks now, so it's so great to see you. Thank you for being here. Excellent. All right. Anyone else want to do a little shout out for your first time being here? And if not, perfectly fine. But we do like to use the chat. And so know that the chat is an opportunity for you to really just get to know people, have them get to know you. We started these events back in March because we knew that people needed a community. And we knew that people wanted a place of positivity. And it hasn't really changed. Let's just be honest. It hasn't really changed that much in our world that people are searching for that place to belong, that place to receive smiles, love, laughter, hear success stories, and have people show what's happened to them and give faith and hope and belief that life is great. And there really are great things that are happening right now. And so we started this community to really bring that together and bring that to the table and allow people just feel the love and feel the energy. And I want you all to know that many of you are in our prayers almost every single night, and we wrap our arms around people. So if you're ever feeling a little off or a little down or anything, that please know that you have this as a community. And please know that all you need to do is a little shout out and say, hey, somebody say hi to me, and you'll get the highs. Hopefully if you're not in a product group already, get back with the person who invited you to this call. Most of us have product groups, which really truly are our love and support groups. And anytime you need that love, just say hi, and you will have so many people respond back to give that. And it's so needed with everything that's going on since March, right? We all need to know we matter, that we care, that we're here, people see us, and that we deserve to be in a place of love. And so I wanted to share that with you just a little bit today, because I know a couple people needed to hear that, and I myself was one. So thank you for allowing me to receive your love today. I appreciate that very much. One thing I do love is I love to create a ripple effect. And the way that we do that, think of a pebble, throwing a pebble into a creek and having the ripple flow throughout the creek and reach so many other places in that water. Because think of a water flowing through a creek, where all does it go? It goes to so many different places. And so when we're that pebble and we get thrown in and we start to ripple out, we have the ability to change things. And I saw that today. So I really want to thank all of you that threw your pebble into the creek and had some fun rippling. And if you are able, one way we create that energy is by seeing each other. So if you are able to put your video on, that would be great. If you can't, no worries, no pressure on that whatsoever. But if you can, it does create energy. And I love to see smiles and to have that. All right, so we've got two incredible speakers to share with you tonight. They have prepared for tonight. And so many amazing things about their presentations. We hope you enjoy and receive from. And then if you want to share their stories with others, that is one of the reasons why we do these stories, so that we can continue to be that ripple effect and share stories. We're storytellers. It's been that way from the beginning. We were created to share stories to help people, whether it's for love, support, entertainment, knowledge, experience, whatever it may be. So feel free to take their stories and share. Our one of our guest speakers, Lisa, will be sharing her free ebook with us later on. So feel free to message, send her your email, or she's going to give you a link where you can go and sign up for her book. It's free. Feel free to share that with a friend as well. It's got a lot of incredible information with it. So I want to thank you guys all so much for being here tonight, special night. We're going to go ahead and get started and have some fun. So thank you. Thank you. Most of you were brought here. Oh, and one other thing I love is while we're doing the slideshow, when we're done with the slideshow, that's to help you get to know the speakers and their presentation and everything. But when they're done, if you want to click on the upper right-hand corner on speaker view, there's a big difference when you can see the speaker directly and not have other distractions. There's something about that energy, just really when they look inside your soul and they get you. So if you're able to do that, that's a lot of fun to start playing with. So I want to introduce you. Today, you guys can see my screen, right? I can't see you. I got to bring that up. But today I want to introduce you guys to a little bit of our nutrition program. It's called Isagenix. We were introduced to Isagenix different times in our lives. And what it is it's the art of well-being. And the stories that you're going to hear tonight are brought to you because their lives have been changed in some way. And usually it's because of the nutrition changing their lives, and they're going to share that with you. But it's also our community and the programs that Isagenix has to offer. So if you are a guest, we appreciate you being here, listening to the stories. If you've been here for a while, we just use this as our time to have fun, enjoy each other. But so that you know a little bit about Isagenix, we do have a vision. And the vision is everyone deserves to experience a healthy, joyful, and abundant life. And we can do that. And we do that by eating better, feeling better, looking better, moving better, doing better. And that's what this nutrition does. It allows us to have that ability to do the things that we really want to do in life a little bit better. Now, next week, we do these presentations every single week. So I want to thank you guys for coming back each week and continuing to invite your friends. But next week, we have a pretty special, unique call. It's with some of our favorite team members and their parents of special needs adult children. And then we also have Gregory, who is the adult child in this situation. And they're going to share their story of what life was like before they started this nutrition for them with a special needs child, as well as what is it like now. And so if you have some people that could really benefit from this, feel free to share that information with them. Now, as always, a little disclaimer, because we do things correctly here. We do have to state that every story is a little bit different, and the stories that we bring to you each Thursday are a little different. They're success stories. Beth is going to be sharing a pretty incredible story with you tonight. Everyone has a different experience. It's what you put into it, what you receive, and how your body reacts. But we want to just let you know about some incredible things that can happen. So with that, I want to introduce Beth Gilmore and have her share her story about her husband, her daughter, and their family, and how this has really, truly changed their lives. Thank you, Beth.
Thanks. I'm so glad to be sharing my story with you guys today. So before Isagenix, I had an incredible life. I have a cute, successful husband. I have 2 great daughters. I had a thriving career as a business and life coach. I smiled a lot. I laughed a lot. And I was full of joy, but it was only on the outside. So what would happen is, as soon as I would get behind closed doors, I was completely miserable. Oh, there's my daughter. That just makes me cry. I was so miserable. I weighed 351 pounds, and honestly, I could barely move. You know, much of my coaching was on the phone, which was very lucky. I have clients all across the country, but I was on the phone a lot. And that was important because some days I could hardly even get out of bed. And I just, I was plagued by pain from breast cancer. I'd had breast cancer before, and I was on post breast cancer medication, and I had chemo, and I was just I had so much inflammation from the medication and from the chemo that I literally was at the end of my rope. I had said to my husband at one point, if this is what life is going to be like, Doug, I'd rather be dead. And at that point I knew I needed to do something. And so, only my family really knew what was going on, because on the outside, we all have this like shell and we want to look good and all that. But I was dying a very, very slow, painful death. And so my husband and I had a conversation, and as a final resort, I signed up for bariatric surgery, and I was scheduled to have that surgery in April. So in February, before the surgery, I'm halfway through my process. A very relentless friend that I have, who I think is on the call, Heidi Fannin, she'd shared Isagenix with me probably 100 times, and I'd said no 101. But one of the people on her team had caught my daughter's attention, and Audrey really wanted to do Isagenix. She was starting college, and she wanted to lose 40 pounds, and she just wanted to feel better. And I literally would have cut my left arm off to keep her from turning into me. So I was literally willing to do anything. So my husband and I decided, let's have her do Isagenix. She can try it. It's expensive, but it'll work. We'll make it work. And my husband turned to me and said, why don't you do it with her? And I said, I like to chew my food. I'm not doing it with her. And he said, you're about to get 80% of your stomach cut out. There's a money back guarantee. Why wouldn't you do it with her? You're worth it. And I was like, okay. And I honestly, very begrudgingly said, okay, I'll try it. And I had every intention of sending that brown box back in 3 days, or 3 weeks, with all of the empty containers, knowing it wouldn't work. But instead, literally 7 days later, after flooding my body with this dense nutrition, and you need to know, like, I ate McDonald's probably 4 or 5 times a week. It was eating a 4th meal in my car. I always say quarter pounders with cheese are my drug of choice. And I haven't had one since February 4 years ago. So I started Isagenix, and I started feeling better, like literally within days. And I was walking with so much less pain. I could move. I could get out of bed, and I felt good. My head was clear, and I had energy for the first time in probably at least since before I had cancer, which was about 10 years before. And I felt real joy for the first time in my life. And this is after a week. So it wasn't even like I'd lost a few pounds, but it was the nutrition. And I came down on a Saturday morning. We'd started on Monday. I came down on a Saturday morning. I'm talking to my husband. He's sitting there drinking his coffee. And I'm like, this, and I'm excited. I don't even know what I was saying to him. And he just stopped, and he looked at me, and his eyes filled with tears. And he said, I just feel like I finally have my wife back. And we had been married 20 years at that point. So that was a long time to go without his wife, the one he signed up for. I knew that I had been miserable, but I had no idea how miserable that I had been. Really, when you get your freedom back, you start realizing how trapped you were. And you don't know until you can compare those two things. But there was so much I had missed out on in my life. I've been heavy my whole life, but I got, severely obese after I had cancer, and I had all these health complications. Up till that point, I was a healthy fat person, if there is such a thing. But once I had cancer, my body started falling apart and breaking down because of the medicine and the chemo and all that. And so like I said, my daughter was, so this was, you know, in February. A few months before that, we had gone as a family to go check out her new college that she was starting the following fall, and it was really great. And it came to time to do a tour. And it was me and my husband and Audrey. And there was no way that I could walk. You know, I wasn't walking even 1,000 steps at that point a day. I couldn't walk. I could barely walk to the building that we were in. And so I sat back and I, you know, waited for everyone to get back. And this was before Isagenix. And one of the biggest accomplishments that I had early on in my Isagenix, you know, adventures was just a few months after I'd started, Audrey and I went back to her college that summer and we toured the campus, and I walked 10,000 steps for the first time I ever walked in my life. And I remember getting home and I was at like 9,952. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've walked almost 10,000 steps. I've never walked 10,000 steps before. How could I have walked almost 10,000 steps? And so I literally got out and walked around my neighborhood until I hit 10,000. And I just started crying because I was like, this is something that I never imagined would have been possible for me before Isagenix. And so since then, I've lost almost 90 pounds. And as a result, I was able to get my hip replaced because I had some very bad damage from my chemo with my right hip. So I'd lost enough weight that I finally got my hip replaced just this February. And let me tell you what, my summer was fantastic. You know, COVID sucked, but I'll tell you, I got a bike. I rode a bike for the first time in decades. I planted a garden. I got on my hands and knees weeding. I hiked, I climbed rocks, I went into the mountains. I was outside almost every single day. And that is not the way that I lived life before Isagenix. And these are all things, like I was doing lives talking about like, look at my garden. I was just on my hands and knees, you know, because people that know me know like I'm inside, the air's on 68, and that's all I do. You know, that's how my life was before Isagenix, but that's not who I am anymore. And so these things are all things that I literally thought were no longer possible for me. I obviously canceled the bariatric surgery because, you know, I've got Isagenix now. And now my life on the outside matches my life on the inside. And so for me, you know, that it's just, I can actually be the person that I was meant to be. I've even helped a whole team of my friends and family get healthy with me with Isagenix. My husband's lost 60 pounds. My daughter Audrey's lost 50 now. My husband went from being like a total not athletic couch potato to doing triathlons. And the team and, you know, jumping into this just because I love it so much, and it's been a miracle for me, has also allowed me to financially be able to put my kids through school so they didn't have to come out with tons of college debt. So, you know, frankly, my weight issues are a function of childhood trauma. And I don't know if Lisa's going to talk about this or not at all, but, you know, I survivor of childhood sexual abuse. And my mindset was really the problem. And that's what Lisa does, like Lisa's queen of mindset. And I, after meeting her, bought her book. I started reading her book, Lisa. It's amazing. It's called Cross Your Creek. And I actually came across a quote in it that literally just shook me. And I thought it really spoke to people. And I just wanted to share it, if that's okay, hopefully, Lisa. She said, and this is like in the preface, it's not even when you're in the meat of the book yet. She said, by a young age, I had already endured way more than any one person should in her life. And it set the stage for a battle I'd be fighting the rest of my life. You know, for me, that's where I was before Isagenix. And it's more than just a nutrition program for me or a way to lose weight. It's a lifeline. It's a tool in a community that helps you change your life and really become the best version of yourself. And I am so grateful for these products and for these people. I've made friends that, you know, I never would have met. Diana Welker. It's her birthday. Happy birthday today. She's in Arizona. I never would have met her if it weren't for Isagenix. Stephanie, I never would have, there's so many people, so many blessings in my life now because of Isagenix. And so I wanted to share two of my favorite products with you. One is Ionix, which anybody that is interested in doing Isagenix, I say Ionix. No matter what you want to start with, you have to start with Ionix. It's a liquid vitamin supplement. I take it every morning. Sometimes I take it 3 hours later and 3 hours later and 3 hours later. You can take it up to 4 times a day, which depending on how cranky I am, I do. My husband and I have a practice of pouring a shot and sliding it across the counter to each other if needed. And it just clears away the cobwebs. It gives me clarity. And for me, more than just the great nutrition and the protein and all of that, Ionix gives me the clarity to make the best choices for myself. And that's why I love it. I also love joint supplement, which is this. It's awesome. Joint supplement is so great. I have been heavy my whole life. I have not weighed under 200 pounds since I was 12 years old, and I'm 53 next month. So joint support is really important to me. I don't want to have to get my knees done or my other hip done while I'm getting the rest of this weight off. So it's been really great for me to kind of, you know, as you get older, you kind of get creaky. Even if you're not overweight, you get creaky and tired and you got to stretch. And this really makes a huge difference for me. So now my goal is to get into the 100s next year, finally get into the 100-pound club, which is awesome. And I can't tell you enough, like Isagenix, I know you have to do the whole thing like, oh, these results are unique to you and all that, but Isagenix has been a miracle for me and my family. And I'm grateful for it in the community.
Well, Beth, I think everybody on this call is going to agree we are grateful for you. Thank you so much for sharing that story. If you get a chance, look at the comments and a lot of the things that came in, because you touched a lot of people's heart just now. And there were some happy tears. I still have some happening. So thank you so much for being transparent with your story and allowing that, because we know you share your story to help others.
For sure.
Yeah, and you've always been so gracious with that. So thank you guys. Everyone give Beth some kudos and love, because if she did touch your heart, it's good to have that energy flowing back. I'm just focused on energy today, guys. Let's have the energy flow back and forth. But thank you so much. I do want to share just a tad bit of what Beth just started talking about, and there's her lovely family. But that's the 100-pound Perks Club. This is pretty amazing, and we have so many people that have been a part of this. It's absolutely incredible. It's basically, if you have released 100 pounds or more, you get to be a part of this special club. And those are some of the benefits that you receive, but it's not about that. It's such a prestigious, it's truly one of our most prestigious clubs, because how many people can say they've released 100 pounds by changing their lifestyle and making it happier. So Beth, you're going to receive that in soon, very, very soon, and walk that stage. So just a little bit more about what Beth talked about, and, you know, kind of how she was feeling about things. The art of well-being is about crafting new experiences. Her rock climbing, her hiking, her garden, the different things that she's done, making healthier choices and belonging to better communities. So we don't do a big presentation. That's not what tonight is for. It's about stories, but we do like to show some of the different areas of why people come. Everyone comes to Isagenix for a reason. These are just a couple of the different reasons why. Some come for the community, some for the health, some specific reasons. Some do come from the income as well. One thing Beth didn't share, which I'll share for her, is from her sharing it with other people, she's been able to pay for her 2 children's college tuition. So that's pretty incredible. And these are the products that they wanted to spotlight today. Couple other products that we have 150 different products. We're not just shakes. We have so many different things, and we do set up systems to help people get started, so you don't have to think. We're in a world where people don't want to think very much. They just want to be able to reach into a box, not have to worry about it. No guilt, no association with what am I supposed to do. We're going to give you that exact plan. so you don't have to think about it. All right, next up, I do have Lisa Olona, and I'm so excited to invite Lisa. Lisa actually was one of our ISA Body finalists. I'm going to show you just a couple of these. She was an honorable mention, excuse me. Couple of the finalists that we've had throughout the years, just show you a couple transformations. It's not always about weight loss. Sometimes it's about building more muscle, gaining more performance, receiving better results, feeling better. But these are just a couple of the stories that are easy to show. Isn't that pretty cool, right? We've had a few of them speak on our calls in the past. All right, let's talk about Lisa. I met Lisa through a really good friend, and we immediately bonded through social media, which is something I love about social media. Lisa was on it and just really very transparent and so loving and caring. And that's what she's always done, and that's what she does today. She loves and cares for people, and she's made a business, several different businesses to do that. So I'm going to have her share her story. And just please know that, again, she's offering her free ebook. Just send your email or go to the link when she sends that out. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Lisa and Beth.
All right. So I'm not quite sure how I follow this up after Beth. Beth, that was very inspirational, very touching. Yes, definitely. I definitely had happy tears on that one. You have already crossed your creek and are a great example of crossing your creek, which I'll get more into explaining the cross your creek part. Can everybody hear me? I'm assuming yes. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Before I really get into sharing my story, I wanted to just take a moment and first of all, really focus on something positive. Each of us to focus on something positive in our own lives. So what I would like for you guys to do is share in the chat a win that you had today. So I'll start. So my big win, I'm super thrilled right now because my 5-month-old puppy is taking a nap. I have been super nervous about her all day and not knowing what she was going to do today. So she is actually napping. I'm in a perfect spot right now. It's quiet and I can relax and share with you guys. So that's my big win for today. What I'd like for you guys to do is think of a win that you have had today that you would like to share. And just go ahead and share it in the chat with the group. Awesome. All right. And so while you're doing that, I also want to talk about, I know that Stephanie was mentioning it's kind of been a weird day. There's kind of like a weird vibe out there, and there's just so much going on in our world. You know, there's so much, too many things, uncertainty. That's the word I was looking for. There's so much uncertainty out there, and it can kind of put us on edge and things like that. So I wanted to give you guys a tool that I use when I know that I'm just feeling a little bit off. And really what my goal is to do this every single morning. I haven't quite hit that goal yet. But I know that the mornings that I do this, I've set a tone for my day, and my day just feels like it flows a little bit better. And if it doesn't flow, I handle it better. So here is my tool that I use. I call it setting your GPS for the day. So GPS, so G is gratitude. So it's picking something that, and you can do this could take like 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. You can do it through journaling. You can just do it through kind of like sitting quietly with yourself and thinking through it. But you could pick one thing that you're grateful for every day. You could pick 10 things you're grateful for, anything in there. But it's finding something that you truly, truly feel grateful for in this crazy, chaotic world. What are you grateful for? And then not only naming that thing that you're grateful for, but feeling the emotion that goes with it. So emotion is emotion, energy in motion. So the more energy that you give it, the more emotion you give it, the more that it brings it to life for you. So think of something that you're truly grateful for. Like I said, it could be as many things as you want. It can be one thing or a lot of things, and really feel that emotion and really grab it and really feel the emotion of gratitude for that thing. So that's the G in your GPS. The second is prayer, which some people like to call it meditation. It can be prayer, it can be meditation, but it's spending that quiet time. For me, it's spending quiet time in prayer with God. That's what that is for me. And like I said, it can be a meditation for somebody else, but it's just taking that time to talk about, you know, what you're grateful for, what your concerns are, what you'd like out of your day, things like that. So that's the P part, is the prayer. So GPS, gratitude, prayer. And then the S is seeing it. So by seeing it, or another word is visualize, visualizing what you want for your day. So let's say you're getting ready to, you're starting out on your new nutrition program, and you're nervous about it, you're anxious, you're ready to get started. You want to visualize yourself actually following through with what it is that those steps that you need to take for that day. See yourself doing it. And then also you can take time to see yourself long-term. So your long-term results that you want to see, that can be your physical being, that can be how you're feeling, can be both. Things that you start to do, hiking, riding a bike, things like that. But starting to visualize that life that you're looking to create for yourself, and the steps in that day that you're going to take toward that life. So that sets your GPS for the day and gets you on a great start, gets your mindset right. I know that, you know, a lot of people, I had a couple friends that were struggling with, you know, their days and getting caught up in all the things we're saturated with through media and social media and things like that. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, maybe let's put that time aside and really take time for ourselves to decide how we want our day to look and move forward in that, and setting your GPS. So that's just a little tool I wanted to hand to you guys before I actually get started into my story. And I hope that helps. And I hope that's, you know, something that Stephanie and I had talked about this. So I hope that's on track for you, Stephanie. Okay, so my story. Boy, and I'm following up with Beth. And Beth, I mean, you're a true warrior. You're just amazing. And I just want to thank you again for your inspiration. My story, I have always been super athletic, and that's just what I always wanted to do, was sports. That's all I cared about doing. That's what I wanted to do. That's, in all honesty, that's why I went to college, is so that I could play sports a little bit longer. That's what got me through college. So I'm very athletic. I have a very athletic mindset. And with that, I've always kind of been a coach at heart. So even at 9 years old, I was outside setting up obstacle courses, which is crazy because that's what I ended up doing as a career in my boot camps. But I was outside setting up obstacle courses for my friends. And I would set it all up and I'd say, okay, we got to jump this, run over there, do this, you know, whatever. And it's just something I've always enjoyed. That's always been my passion. So moving through, I ended up, you know, playing 4 sports through high school. And then in college, I played 2 sports, and I went into coaching volleyball. So I coached college volleyball, coached high school volleyball. And I kind of hit this rough patch in my life, and where I just really lost my way. Without getting into any details, I lost my way. And I ended up actually, at that point, I ended up putting up on some weight. And this was years ago. This is pre-Isagenix. And I created my own plans. I created my own workouts, my own nutrition, just kind of studied it and whatever, and started to change my body. But I really enjoyed it. And I was working at a tennis club at the time, and I had other women asking me to start training them. And I was super excited, like, oh, you know, I'd get back into coaching. So that's what led into my fitness career. So I became a fitness coach. I did some one-on-one training, but really the bulk of my fitness coaching has been through group fitness in outdoor boot camps. I've been doing that for 16 years now. So about halfway through my fitness career, I was just starting to really feel frustrated, defeated. I just felt I was losing confidence, like self-worth. I just didn't feel good. And it was because I was physically active. That was never an issue for me. It was that nutrition piece. I wasn't really focused on that nutrition piece. And as a fitness coach, you know, nutrition's an important component of that. And I just was feeling bad about myself. And I can remember the day when I was sitting and it was early on Isagenix. I've been with Isagenix, it's either 10 or 11 years coming this December. So it's been a while. And it was very early Isagenix. And I was sitting in Phoenix at Isagenix Celebration, one of their first ones, I think. And it's when they had just kind of started the Isabody Challenge, and they had their Isabody finalists, and I was trying to remember her name and I couldn't remember her name. But she was up there talking and sharing her story. And I remember sitting there thinking, I mean, I just felt like this emotion, like this inspiration, like, wait a minute, I can do that. I can do that. I know I can do that. And even though deep down I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, but I just felt inspired, like, yes, I can do it. So I decided that on May 5th, 2014, I was going to do everything it took to transform my body once and for all. I mean, as an athlete, I was fit, but I didn't really have to focus too much on nutrition. I mean, it would have been amazing if I did, how my performance would have been. But I was so active that I kind of just ate whatever I felt like eating. So that was not something that I ever really had to focus on. And so that was something that I knew was going to have to change, you know, and I started with Isagenix, and thank God for Isagenix, because it made it super simple for me. It's not easy, you know, making any kind of change is not easy, but I do know that Isagenix made it very, very simple for me. And it's through two things. It was, you guys talk about the community and the nutrition part. The community was huge for me, especially through the Isa Body Challenge. Being on the Isa Body Challenge page, just the constant inspiration, the support, the friendships that were made, that was huge. And then the nutrition component. So I had, through that process, learned so much about nutrition. I knew the fitness part. I felt comfortable with the fitness part, but I learned so much about nutrition, and I had learned so much about mindset and how incredibly powerful mindset is. And I know that word is used so much by coaches now, and it should be, because where our mind is, that's where we're going to go. You know, that's where our mind will take us to where we want to go. And it's such an important piece. And so I really got more and more drawn after I had my own transformation. I was just so drawn to that mindset piece. And I ended up getting my life transformation coach certification. That's a lot of words. I like to just call it mind and body coach now, but so it's a life transformation certification. And I ended up getting that. I ran, so far I've run 3 retreats, and Stephanie was in the first one. So yeah, so far it's been 3 retreats. There were a couple more scheduled, but COVID kind of, you know, messed that up a little bit, but that's okay. We'll get back into it. And in our 3rd retreat, we were in Sedona, and I knew at this point I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book on overcoming obstacles, on how to overcome, because that's the big thing. When we go to create change, we always start out, and I know Rod Harrison talks about this a lot, and this is where I really learned this, was we always start out super, super excited, like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. You're fired up, you know, you've got all those emotions, and you start going through the day-to-day grind life, and things start coming up. And it is inevitable that resistance is going to come up. Something is going to come up, whether it's external, you know, whether it's, you know, the kids no longer go to school, now you're teaching the kids, or the gyms are closed, or, you know, whatever it may be. It could be something external, or it can be internal, like Beth had kind of touched on, and that was my issue. It was more internal. It was a story I was telling myself. It was things I would tell myself about my self-worth, and I'd start to attain something, but then am I worth that? And I'd go back, and I'd never fully work through that resistance because of that story I was telling myself. So I knew I wanted to write a book about this. I just didn't know the title. I didn't know exactly how it was going to play out. We had a retreat, it was our 3rd retreat, and this retreat, I had decided, the 2 previous retreats, I had other coaches come in and do the guest speaking. So I didn't really do much coaching in those. I just kind of coordinated them. Well, this retreat, I thought, step out of your comfort zone. You're a coach. You love coaching. Go for it. Just do it. So I actually had, you know, coached in this one. So we're heading out for a hike in Sedona, and everyone's excited. It's Saturday morning. You know, it's our 2nd morning there. It's beautiful. It's like 72 degrees out. We're all super pumped to go hit this trail, get on top of this mountain, and just look at Sedona. So we get out of the car, you know, some ladies have their little hiking poles and stuff like that. We get out of the car, we notice that there's this little hill that you have to go down first. So we're kind of going, okay, where's the trail? So we start heading down this hill, and there's a creek. And so we're like, okay. And we realize that the trail is on the other side of the creek. So we have to, this trail that we're so excited to be on, this path that we thought we were just going to hop right on and go, is on the other side of a creek. So now I'm thinking, okay, I have 7, 8 other women with me, all different fitness levels, and I've got to figure out this path to get everybody across. And so we spent an hour, and this is all because of this, because of the stories people started telling themselves. So there was one other gal and I spent an hour trying different parts of the creek to see where everybody would go. And a lot of the ladies were standing on the top of the creek like, no, you know, like a lot of doubt, a lot of those things that happen when resistance pops up, the stories we tell ourselves. But we saw other people on the trail. We could see over there that there were other people. So we knew it was possible. We knew it was possible to cross this creek and get on the trail. It's just a matter of doing it. Okay, so, and I'll get into that a little bit more. That all led to the title of my book, Cross Your Creek, which is a determined women's guide to becoming unstoppable. So it's moving across the creek, no matter how slow, it's moving across no matter what comes up. It's moving, it's seeing that, okay, I'm, 100 pounds overweight and I want to be over there. And no matter what comes up, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to find my way and I'm going to keep moving across. Some days I may be slower than others, but no matter what, I'm going to keep moving across this creek. And that's what the Cross Your Creek and Becoming Unstoppable is all about with the book. So I kind of summarized, and there's 11 steps in the book that I actually take you through. So instead of going through all 11 steps, I think how are we doing on time? I'm getting short on time. Instead of going through all 11 steps, I'll quickly just touch on the 4 main categories. So first is assessing the situation. It's first seeing the situation for what it is. So when you're getting ready to go on a hike, or when you're getting ready to transform your body, lose weight, build muscle, get better performance, and you come across resistance, and all of a sudden something in your plan changes, or in your mindset, something changes. It's saying, wait a minute, it's stopping for a second and going, I see what this is. This is just an obstacle, and it's designed here, it's put here for me to work my way across it. And that's the first step. And so, like I said, there's smaller steps in each section here. The first thing is to see it for what it is. That's the part that a lot of people miss. So when they're going to create change, they're going to transform, let's just use your body, for example, you're going to transform your body. And then all of a sudden you notice, you go back. So if you've ever started a program and then ended up not completing it, and some people might've done that 100 times, maybe you've just done it once, but you ever start a program and then you go back, it's kind of like your old self is pulling that part of you that's trying to get to that new self, it's pulling it back because this is what's comfortable. So at the creek, it was comfortable for a couple ladies to just go back to the car and wait, where the rest of the crew worked their way across the creek. So that's just first seeing it for what it is. Okay, what is this? This is just resistance. It's okay. I can still navigate my way through this. That's the first part. The second part is preparing. So this is mentally planning. So this is standing at the creek and saying, okay, now there's this resistance that I didn't expect to be here. Okay, so you're kind of checking out the rocks. Okay, we can maybe cross those rocks. We could go through, it looks shallow here. We can walk through here and go knee deep. Okay, so you're on a fitness program and the gym's closed because of COVID. Okay, gyms are closed. Now there's at home. Now there's like, the internet is like all over the place with at-home workouts. Okay, I can get an at-home workout and I can do this instead. Well, wait, now the kids are home and I'm actually having to work and homeschool them at home. Okay, well, then I'm going to get up a half an hour earlier. So it's seeing that, and then it's starting to plan like how you're going to cross that creek that popped up, that resistance that popped up. Or I'm getting ready to quit. I don't feel like doing it today. Wait, what story am I telling myself that's causing me to want to just quit right now? And so it's recognizing that as well, and then switching that and then making a new plan for it. Okay, so then I'm kind of going through these fast. Okay, so then step 3 is taking action. Now this is huge, and my quote I have for this, and there's a quote on each page you can see in the book. I was going to give you each quote, but the quote I have for this is, action breeds confidence and courage. Every time, and any of you who have had a transformation, I think Beth, in just hearing her story, you can hear that as she continued to move through her weight loss journey, she was gaining courage. She was gaining, you know, that confidence to keep moving forward, and she started to do more things. You know, then she's hiking, then she's riding a bike, and she started with 10,000 steps, and she's doing more and more and more. It's because she took action. It's because instead of just standing at the bank right there and assessing the situation and looking and planning, sometimes we get so caught up in the planning, we miss out on the action part. So it's actually stepping forward, which is can be scary, and taking action. And every time you take that step forward and move forward, you gain confidence, you gain courage. Okay. And then the final one is the fourth one is just living. So it's you've created, you're transforming your mind, you're transforming your body, and it's creating this lifestyle of, this is who I am now, and this is what my life, my day-to-day life is going to look like. And it's as you transform in any way, whether it's your body, whether you're moving into, you know, a new location, creating a business, whatever it may be, as you're moving through that, you start to build that confidence, that courage, and now you're living, and you're living the life more and more every day that you have set out for yourself. So that is the 4 main sections. I went over it as quickly as I could in my book. And again, the book is Cross Your Creek, and it is on Amazon. But I do also have an ebook that I'd like to offer you. And it's funny because I think it was Diana had mentioned overcoming cravings for chips. I think that was. So I was like, oh, perfect. Okay, awesome. Because I have an ebook on overcoming cravings. So it's about a 30-page, I think it's about 30 pages. And if you drop your email in, like Stephanie had said in the chat, I'll grab your email. I'll also put a link. Do you want me to put it just on the main page, on the invite page? Or okay, I'll put a link in there. You can also just go straight in there and add your email in there as well. Automatically, you'll get the ebook. And the good thing is once I have your email, I'm not going to spam you, promise. But I do want to educate you. So once I have your email, there is another ebook I have coming out in October on starting a fitness program and steps in starting and getting started in a fitness program and a nutrition program. So I have more ebooks coming. So the 4th step, I just saw that real quick. So the 4th step was just living, was making it your lifestyle. All right. And that is it. So please leave your email if you'd like those ebooks. Again, you have one in September, September's ebook, and I have one coming in October. And if you get a chance, check out the book, Cross Your Creek. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having me, Stephanie. This is an incredible thing you're doing. So needed right now. You guys are awesome. You're welcome.
Thank you,
Sheila.
Lisa. Absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for offering all of that advice and the techniques and your books. There's a ton of emails coming in. So
Cool.
you definitely hit a lot of people with the heart. You and Beth are absolutely perfect paired together, and your stories and your transformations and the way you care for people. And it just shows. And I want to thank all of you. I really want to thank all of you from our tribe to this entire community of being here and offering your energy and your vibes and your positivity, and together let's just create that ripple. Let's cross the creeks. Let's create the ripples with each other and really help people. Did anyone feel different since you've been on this call tonight? I know I do. So would love to hear if you do feel a surge of energy and some more support and love, and know that people are here for you. And that's what we want to do every single week. And every single week there's a different presenter, and they give love and support. But this one, I have to say, is truly special. So thank you, Beth, Lisa, and everybody, each of you, for being here tonight, spending your time with us. Go and enjoy your family and your friends and the beautiful weather as it starts to change, and embrace the change. Embrace the seasons for where we are going, right? Where's your GPS going right now? And put that to use and take all of these nuggets to heart and know that you matter, and everything that you do makes a difference to this entire world. So with that, thank you, Beth, thank you, Lisa, thank you, Trisha.